Following our successful defense of Rome against the Gallic invasion, in summer of 269 our 4th and 3rd Legion finally laid siege of Genoa, where they successfully captured it. However, main opponent at this point is Carthage and our First Punic War, so preparations have begun with building up our army and with their army reforms to push for Carthage. As our preparations were going for the invasion of the Carthaginians, not everything went so smoothly. In the summer of 268 BC, Massilians sent another army, however they didn't attack, but still they were a threat to Genoa. On the south, rebellion was underway in Sicily and it had to be put down before the invasion. In autumn of 268 BC, a legion and a fleet were finally ready and well supplied to cross the sea and attack city of Karalis. This is a really important step towards our invasion of Carthage itself. In a winter of 268, army finally reached the shores and landed. As soon as fleet joined the 1st Legion and our forces reorganized, we immediately went into the battle and started our siege of the city. This time we will follow the battle a little bit differently. So instead of a short review of the battle, this time we will go a little bit longer and we will try to watch the battle in a bit better way and try to follow as much as we can. So we started with our usual organization where we set 2 army groups in 2 different spots of the city. Karalis is a beautiful city and it has unique, I believe it has a unique loadout. So that's why we are gonna watch this battle fully, and I'll try to post most of the battles where we have unique cities in full. Even though this is a beautiful city, it will be really heavily defended and our armies will have a tough time. So we have 2 Hastaris on both ladders and they will be first one to go up and get on the walls. On the other side of the city we have our cavalry, which is pushing to try to get gates burned so we can go in and try to cap and push from both sides with our infantry. Or here we see that enemies went out and in from their gates, probably a bug, but yeah. These towers will do a hell of a damage to us together with those skirmishers on the wall. So hopefully our troops will go in as fast as they can, burning down the gate and capturing the walls to try to lower down the casualties so our army and 1st Legion can push further into the enemy land and repellish as fast as it can. Our first group over here has Triarii, which don't have javelins and they can instantly go in and burn down the gate. So we are pushing other Hastaris, not all of them, but we'll try to push them in waves to use their pilas on walls where enemies are so that they can join in burning down the gate, and that way they will be able to get inside the city as fast as they can. One good thing is, even though that they have intensive fire, they are not doing that much damage to our units. Or here we see that we are lucky with the southern side of our push, since the Hastaris are climbing up the walls where we have no enemies. It is probably because they see that most of our army is on the different side of the gates, and they're trying to reinforce that since we are burning down the gate. Same is happening on the different wall where Hastaris are literally given free entrance on the gates, on the walls, which will probably backfire hard for the opponents. Finally, we see that one hastari used all of its pila, and it will join these triarii in burning down the gates. On the other hand, our fleet is arriving, and we'll try to push from inside the city, and we'll try to land on the docks of the opponent. So they'll slowly start to line up over here and go in waves so that they don't make a clutch and that they can easily move in and out, not making any problems for the rest of the ships. So now we have two hastaris on the wall on one side, and we will do the same on the other wall, where we will send yet another hastari up the wall to support our units. We are still waiting for those gates to burn down and that we can push with our principes, and finally gate is under fire. Now we only have to wait for it to burn down, and then we can push. So our principes are getting in position to push in and try to make a little corridor for our troops to move and try to flank. Okay, so two hastaris are on the wall, and I will send one hastari to try to go on a different entrance on the wall so that they can move down without any opposition and try to flank the opponents. However, we have some Carthaginian militia over here holding this gate, but in a grind battle against hastari they will lose, even though that they are basically a hoplite unit against hastari together with velites which are supporting. They will eventually lose. They will inflict damage, but they will lose. It is a bit hard to micro on the wall, and hastaris are finally leaving this gate and going on the other side. Yeah, they first had to go out of battle, and yeah, it's a bit tricky. Rome 2 still has this problem with the walls. Oh, I remember it on the launch. Walls were epic. Walls were really epic. Finally, that hastari disengage and will now rush on that spot so it can go out. Finally, we have a small opening here. One gate is open, and that is leaving our troops to move in. We have one hastari unit down below, and sorry, it's a principe. We have one principe down leaving the walls, and everyone focused on them, leaving completely gate open, and we have now principes pouring in and attacking them from behind. Triarii here really suffer heavy losses from these two towers. Actually, they have 3 towers firing at them, and it's a really good angle. It's like a headshot. Okay, second gate will go down soon. Okay, one hastari is almost ready, and it will go down the walls. Now we are pushing another hastari up there to climb up and then join their comrades down below. General is pushing in, and we have 3 hastaris pouring down the gate as well. So their first target and their first task will be to engage militia which is on the streets, to block them from going towards the gate. That way our infantry will have easy time entering the city and trying to make formation which is suitable for them to engage the opponents. Finally, fleet reached the port, and they will now land and try to put even more pressure on the opponents. We see general is entering. 3 hastaris here pushing this militia. It is in a bad position. It will not be able to stay there for long. On the other side of the wall, we see that slowly, even though that they are outnumbering us, they are being attacked from two different sides, and that is really impacting the enemy morale. So our troops will slowly grind them out from two sides, routing them, and then they'll try to join their comrades in city center, where probably enemies will try to mount last stand. Also, cavalry is pushing in because we have some skirmishers which are on the right side of the walls and which are making problems for our infantry. Finally, marines are on the field, and they will go in and start hunting down the enemy skirmishers over here. Yeah, we see these waves as our fleet is pouring in. And finally, we have cav, and cavalry will just go and round down those skirmishers. And we here see that we have a chain rout which is about to happen for enemy skirmisher and militia holding the northern gate and northern wall. And yeah, they're pretty much broken. Now only thing we have to do is to get the southern gate open completely and wiped from the enemy, so that we can all push in from two sides and put as much pressure as we can on the rest of the enemy army in the city. General is joining in the fight. It is not really a good idea for General to do that, but he's trying to break through, to break that formation and to push behind and to back charge and do a hammer and anvil on enemies. Okay, now we see that enemies are sending in their northern gate garrison over here, so we'll need to prepare for that. We are sending one Principe to block their way, because Roman infantry, if anything, Roman infantry is really good at holding line and really sticking in melee combat with other infantry. That's probably the best thing about the Roman infantry. I played some battles in which Roman infantry just wouldn't break as easy as other infantry when they are facing when they are face to face with the opponent. Of course, when they are back charged or stuff like that, they will be susceptible to morale impact. But when they face opponent face to face, like here in town, they definitely will not break that easily. Finally, our general managed to break through, and we have now Hastari pushing from behind, attacking these militias here, helping the rest of the troops. Oh yeah. Throwing that Pila, doing the damage, and now gonna go with the charge. Cavalry is also charging now, so we have double charge from behind and from the flank on enemy troops, and General will rally his units once again. Oh no, he wouldn't, because the effect of rally is still there, so he'll skip on that one. And over here we see one Principe holding, and now we will send two Principe Manipulas to go in and help his comrades in holding that line. We still have small detachment of Libyans down there, but they'll be dealt swiftly. We have flanking troops over here which are pushing to the city, and second wave of our navy will land, providing us with some skirmishers. Our marines are already on the field, and they wiped the floor with enemy enemy fleet which landed. Now on the wall we have, on the northern wall, we only have one unit, and we sent 3 units, 3 manipulas to deal with that. And now we have yet another flank over here on enemies, with our Principes coming literally from side and city center. And with this, it's the fate of the town is pretty much sealed. Now it's just how fast will they go down, and how many casualties will we sustain. The goal is to sustain as less as we can, and to capture city as fast as we can. It is really interesting to see that these militias, which initially were first one to engage in combat, are actually the last one to flee from the from the walls on the northern gate. Really interesting. Okay, again, our troops have flanked, and now it is a grind once again, and enemies will quickly dissolve over here under pressure. Cavalry is on the city center, just waiting there, and we see general charging at our marines. They are heavy infantry, heavy principes, but again it's a cav, and they do well against melee units. So we are quickly gonna send some reinforcements, some Hastaris from the northern gate to go in and help our marines, and also second wave of our fleet and second wave of our javelins from the ship is on the ground and will go in engage enemy general. You see this fight here in this small alley. Let's say that this is probably the last stand for Carthaginian infantry. With this, all of the Carthaginian infantry will be down. We'll only have some skirmishers left in the town, just trying to escape for their life, and a general which is frankly dead already. Yeah, general, he's getting flanked. Yeah, see, he haven't suffered a lot, still any loss in men. So he's really holding nicely. But finally we have our skirmishers which are coming, and they'll start to do damage. We have now Hastaris coming from behind, which will put more pressure on these cavalry units, and will definitely turn the tides. But I do think that the skirmishers are the one who will do most of the damage here for our units. Oh, on the other hand, again, this is a second route, second chain route. We have just with that cavalry charge, they're routing, and units over here will have an easy time picking them off and getting that valuable veterancy for killing down enemy. This is a slaughter. It's basically enemies trying to escape for your life, and they are in a pincer movement between two units. I mean, it's just bloodbath. Can you imagine cleaning this part of the street after battle? If you are the inhabitant of this city and just watching this, or entering city after it and just walking by this by the street and seeing all of the bodies on the ground. Yeah, terrifying. Yeah, it seems that the last survivor and the last fight for the city will be done by the skirmishers, which are still running away from our troops. But still, the towers have not been captured, not all of them. And over here we have some towers which are firing at the enemies, and some towers which are firing at us. But friendly fire is to happen, definitely. So yeah, these towers definitely did most of the damage to our troops. But with this, pretty much the town is captured. All of the inhabitants are... All resistance is futile, and the city is captured. We had 502 losses, so it is not a low number, but again it's a frontal siege attack we did against a well-defended city with a good positioning. Enemies lost 2,000, so it's 4 guys killed for every guy we lost. City was looted and captured by the 1st Legion. In our next episode we will continue with the first Punic War against the Carthage. I would highly appreciate you guys leaving a comment down below telling me about this way of following the battles, and these kind of a little bit even more longer episodes, but still cutting down on unimportant stuff from the campaign. Once again, thank you for staying, and see you soon in our next episode. And also, yeah, don't forget we will have our Carthage campaign out, a normal regular campaign with longer episodes for like 40 minutes. So yeah, stick with that, and see you soon. Bye.